Hello guys, welcome to this Astro crash course, and inside this crash course you will be learning about how to code a complete static block with syntax highlighting and pagination in Astro. So you can see on your screen this project we will be building, and you will actually see this project. This is a static block, and you can see that it has syntax highlighting. It's a coding block, so you will be able to share code with your user. So we have different kinds of headings, images, we have nice little syntax highlighting as well. So this is a Astro crash course. Astro is a framework for building static websites, server-side websites as well, but specifically in this tutorial we will be looking at how to build the static block. And if you also see, we also have the pagination as well. If you see, we are displaying 4 blog posts per page. We have the previous button, which is disabled by default. We are on the first page, and then we can navigate to the next page right here by clicking the next page, and automatically these URLs are generated. As I go to the previous page, it will show me localhost 4321/blog, and if I navigate to the second page, it will /blog/2. So the URL will also change as the pagination change. So you can individually view the blocks like this. You can see that we have the heading right here. We have published on, this is a date. So this is Markdown right here. So Markdown is compiled and at compilation, and basically you will see that this is all written in Markdown. If I show you, this is actually in the content directory. We have a Markdown file mdx. So all these blog posts have 4 properties: the title, description, tags, publish date, and these are all the Markdown here. This is a heading here, this is paragraph, this is syntax highlighting for sharing code right here. So this is all compiled to a simple blog post that you see right here in the browser. We will also show at the last how to deploy this onto a real domain name. So we are actually using Vercel to actually deploy this Astro static block inside the internet so that everyone can access your blog. So this is all coming in this video. So we'll be looking at step-by-step instruction on how to build this from scratch. So we will see these are different pages. This is a home page, this is a pagination page here. If you want to view the pagination, this is the about page. So here you can write your description, your profile picture, name, email address, phone number. So I will be showing you how to set up all these pages from scratch. And you can see that we also made pages for different categories as well. Let's suppose your blog have different categories. So blogs related to JavaScript, if I click it, you will see that post tag JavaScript. So it will only display posts related to JavaScript. Similarly, if you want to have category of PHP, you will see that. So these are different category pages right here. If you see /tag/JavaScript and C#, you will see. So for each category, we have built out pages right here. So this is there, and also we also have sitemap as well. If you are actually want to deploy the website, sitemaps are useful if you want to index your website on Google. So Astro does provide you a package with it. So this package allows you to have a sitemap. So if you see in the dist folder, we have the sitemap file right here. So you can even access this file right. Let me serve this file right here, npm run. So there are different commands in Astro. So this is I'm running it in development server. So if you want to run the build version, you will simply run this command npm run preview. So now it will run this production level folder, which is in dist folder. So if I navigate to localhost 4321, you will see the same website, but now it is serving it from the dist folder, which will be the production build. So this folder, you need to simply deploy it inside your hosting. So whichever hosting plan that you buy, you need to simply upload this folder, dist folder. So you can deploy this website to any kind of hosting, such as cloud hosting, shared hosting, any sort of hosting. So the point I'm telling you that you can simply navigate to see the sitemap here. Simply type sitemap-0 XML. So you will actually see your sitemap. So this sitemap will be very much useful if you want to deploy your website online, or if you want to index pages on Google. So Google will automatically index all these pages which are mentioned in this sitemap. So you will see that. So this is the category pages These are the blog post pages right here. So now inside this Astro config file right here, you need to replace your website name. So here you need to replace the HTTPS your website. Instead of your website, you need to replace whatever domain name that you're purchasing. So simply replace the domain name and then it will instantly create the sitemap according to these pages. So we are also using syntax highlighting plugin. If you see, Astro does have its own built-in. It is called as Shiki. So Shiki, you can see they have their own official website, Shiki syntax highlighter, and it has various themes out there. We are using the Dracula theme right here. If you see, uh, let me run the development version right here, npm run dev. So this comes with this own syntax highlighting for all the languages, JavaScript, PHP. So it supports all the languages. You can check their documentation, and it has support for all the languages. So one such theme is not theme. So if I want to change this, I can simply change this to not theme. So it will reflect the changes. So you just need to npm run dev. So it will restart your application. So your theme will be changed right here. This is the syntax highlighting theme. So in this way, you can pick any theme of your choice. You just need to change it inside this Astro config. Upon changing it, this is actually deployed on Netlify. So I am running it on locally. So I just want to show you localhost 4321. So this is the local version. So now you can see the theme is changed right here. So I basically make the change right here. I change the theme to not theme. So here we can have multiple themes. So if you just type here Shiki syntax highlighter, and it has various themes out there, and this is the Dracula one. This is all these themes are there. This is the night owl theme. So you can use any theme of your choice, I think. So we will be looking at whenever we build it, I will show you all the options. So it's very easy. So if you want the full source code with documentation and support, so the link is given in the description. You can directly purchase the full source code with full directory structure from my website procodestore.com. So with full documentation as well. So the link is given. You can go it and purchase it. So once you purchase it, you will be redirected to Google Drive, where you will actually able to download this zip file, which will actually hold all this directory structure, which all the source code that I will have. Some code I will not write because this is not a CSS tutorial. So some files will be pre-built inside this directory structure. This is global CSS and all the layout structure that I will build. So some files I will not build it from scratch. So that's why it's important that you purchase it so that you can follow better with the tutorial. So then we will be looking at in the next section to start building this Astro static block from scratch. Now guys, in this section we will actually start building the Astro project. So this is actually, if you don't know, Astro has a website. This is the official website of Astro build. This is the address here. If you see Astro build, and it's a framework for building content driven websites. So both you can build it e-commerce, blog, websites as well, static, server side. It's a fully fledged full stack framework, something Gatsby, Next.js, Next. So it's a very popular among developers, you will see. So now to get started, we will navigate to the project directory right here inside YT projects. So right here, this is actually the command npm create a astro @latest. So this flag we are installing the latest version at the time of recording this video. You will see that this is actually the command npm create astro @latest. So enter it, and then it will ask you some questions related to your project. So it is saying to that where should we create your new project. So if you left empty, you need to enter the location here. You just need to give the I will say Astro coding blog. This is the name of the project. So it will create this directory, and then it is telling how would you like to start your new project. So it is basically saying include sample files, and it is a recommended way, or you can also use a pre-built blog template that Astro will give you, but this is a beginner tutorial, so I will not use the second option. And also there is a third option which is empty, which doesn't include any file. You need to start from scratch. You need to create every file from scratch. So I will choose the first option, which is the recommended one. It will include some sample files. So then it is telling, do you want to write TypeScript or JavaScript? So this tutorial is about JavaScript. So you can even build it in TypeScript as well. TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript with additional features, but I will be building it in JavaScript, so I will select no. And then it will install this dependency. Simply select yes. So it will also say initialize a new GitHub repository. So it is optional. So I will say I don't want to create a GitHub repository, so I will say no. So it is now project initializing. It is creating that template and installing dependencies. So I will not pause the video. So just see everything which is going on. So once all the dependencies are installed, we will open this project inside VS Code. So this will hardly take 10 to 15 seconds, and then your project will be ready. And then I will just summarize you the directory structure of a sample Astro project. So it is just installing it, if you see right here. And in the meantime, we can look at the documentation. If you see in the Astro, it does have a very community based developers out there, and it has a great documentation. So if you face any sort of issues, you can come to this documentation. It has a pre-built tutorial as well to actually build a blog inside their website. So I really like their documentation. So each and every step is detailed, explained. You will see that. So now you can see the project is created. Now we can simply navigate to the project directory, Astro coding blog. So I can open it inside VS Code. So now to get started in VS Code, guys, in Astro, you do need to install some extensions right here. So go to the extensions tab. If you're doing it for the very first time, just install these extensions. Just type here Astro, and the very first extension which comes with it has developed by Astro. Right here is language support. So for his syntax highlighting for files, simply install this extension. This will be needed by you. Simply, I already installed it, so it will be enabled globally. But this supports syntax highlighting, various support for creating files. This is the basic project. You see that we have icon here, Astro file. It has changed to blue icon. This is the official icon of Astro. We have a basic component, card component right here. This is the layout file. This is actually the base layout file which will hold the title, description, everything related to your project. Here you can store global CSS, everything which will be available for all the pages inside your blog. So this is the actual layout files. You can have multiple layouts as well, but for a simple static website, we do have a single layout file right here in the layouts folder. Then we have pages. For now, we have a single page right here. If you see this page, for every page that you create, a route will be created automatically in Astro. So for this, we have the index route right here. So now we can run this application. If you check in the package.json file, we have various scripts out there: npm dev, npm start, build in order to build your project, preview in order to see the build preview of the project. These are the dependencies that we have installed. We are using 4.1.2.2. This is the latest version of Astro at the time of recording this video. So now what we can do, we can stop this previous Astro project, and now we can start npm run dev. We can run this command. So this will start the development server, which will run on localhost 4173. I think it's the port number. No, 4321. This is the actual port number of Astro. By default, it will run on this port number. So you can now navigate to it, localhost 4321. You will see this is the welcome page that you will see for Astro, and welcome to Astro. You can actually edit this page by going to the pages folder index, and if you don't need this, we can delete everything from here, and we can write a simple message here, hello world. So if you make this changes will be reflected back if you see, and hello world is seeing. If you just see in the development server, we do offer, this is a menu right here. This is actually the development server. That's why that you see this menu right here. This menu will not appear in the production build. This is only available for the development server only. So this is a basic Astro app guys that I wanted to show you in this tutorial. And now in the next section we will try to start building the project. So I will be seeing you in the next section. Now guys, in this section we will get started by building something inside our astrostatic coding block. So in the last tutorial we actually built out a very basic Astro project, and it is listening on localhost 4321. So hello world passage was staying. So now we need to install some modules for our Astro static block. So first of all, just stop this server, and right here we need to install these two modules. First of all, for working with Markdown files, we need to install this package @Astro MDX. MDX stands for Markdown files. So if you want to actually build a Markdown static block, you need to actually have this extension or library of Astro @Astro/MDX. Then the second one, for actually generating the sitemap, we do also need @Astro/sitemap. This is the second package @Astro/sitemap. Simply enter it and it will install these two packages inside your package.json file. So it is telling us that Astro@MDX. Oh, sorry, we misspelled this. This need to be Astro.js. Sorry guys, Astro.js in both these instances. Just see @Astro.js/MDX @Astro.js/sitemap. So enter it. So now it will install these two libraries inside your package.json file. So to actually work with Markdown files and also to actually generate the sitemap of your Astro static block, these two libraries are necessary. Now we have successfully installed it. So inside your package.json file, we have got these two dependencies. Now the next job is to actually go to the config file. So for every Astro project, there is this global file, global astro.config.mjh. This is a config file that you need to go to. So now anytime when you add third-party libraries or modules, you need to go to this file to actually register this globally inside your Astro application. So this is by default, it will look something like this. We have the define config function, which is coming from the base astro/config class. So inside this function, we need to define first of all our site name. So here you need to pass your site name. So if you are building it for a client, you need to actually give their domain name here. So I will just say yourwebsite.com. This is your Astro website address. Put a comma, and then we have integrations options. If you want to actually add third-party integrations inside your Astro website, we have this array of integrations. So here you can actually integrate multiple libraries inside your Astro application. So the very first one we will be integrating for the Markdown files. So we will be integrating this MDX that we installed, and this will be coming from Astro.js/MDX. We installed it earlier on. So now we need to integrate this. So we'll say MDX, and this is actually a function, and here you need to pass this object. So inside this object, we need to integrate the syntax highlighting. Syntax highlighting is basically, this is a coding block, so syntax highlighting is an option right here. So We will be using the built-in syntax highlighter for Astro. They basically support two syntax highlighters. Prism is one of them. Prism is also a syntax highlighter, and we will be using for this tutorial Shiki. The configuration for Shiki is little bit easy as compared to Prism. Prism is also a syntax highlighter if you don't know. If you just write here Prism syntax highlighter, they have various themes as well, but their configuration process is little bit complex, but in Shiki it has built-in support. That's why we'll be using this. And then the second option is Shiki config. Inside this is also a option, and here you need to actually provide a theme. And for this, you can see in the drop down we have various themes out there: GitHub Dark, default, GitHub Dark, Light. All these themes are supported if you see in the drop down. So for this, we will be using the Night Owl theme. Let's suppose you can use any theme of your choice. And then the next option is GFM. This is Boolean parameter. You need to set it to false. That's all. So this is all syntax highlighting configuration that you will do right here. You need to provide your own theme. You can choose the theme right here. So that's all that the configuration is required, guys. So you can now close this file, and now we need to actually go to the layout file. So this is our base layout file, guys, layout.astro. I can just rename this file to base layout. So this is not mandatory that you need to rename this to base layout. You can give any name, but I am just for this application I'm just renaming it to base layout. So this will be the layout for the application. I will delete everything and write it from scratch. So for every Astro file, guys, there is a JavaScript, there is HTML, there is a CSS. Now the JavaScript is written in these three brackets: dash 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 dash. This is here you will write your Astro or JavaScript code. So all the JavaScript code, the business logic will come in between these brackets right here. And here you can actually write your HTML code, simple HTML code. So you can say this is the layout file. And then we come the style sheet code. So for every Astro component, these three things are there. First of all, we have the JavaScript code at the top, or Astro code. Then we have the HTML. Then we have the CSS for each component like this. This is a actual structure of a Astro file. So now we can actually give a basically this is actually a layout file. So for the layout file, what we need to do, we will need to have a HTML tag right here, and inside this we will have the head tag. We will give it a meta tag right here, character set UTF-8. So this code that I am writing right here, this will be common in all the files. That's why it is called as layout file. So all the files will share this code. So head tag will come in all the files, meta tag will come in all the files. So here you can actually include your style sheet, the basic style sheet that will be used in all the files. You need to include this. So one such style sheet we'll be using is we'll be first of all be including the any icon that you want to include. So any static assets such as CSS code, images, you can include this inside this layout file. So this favicon, we will include this favicon.svg file, which is present in the public directory. If you see, we are including this in this. This is not mandatory, but I am just including it, this favicon. This is necessary for Google search engines. Then we basically have the title tag right here, and here you can give your title. For now I will be giving a static title. You can even make it dynamic as well. I will show you later on how we can pass dynamic variables to Astro components. This is all I will show you step by step. This is the title, and then we come actually right here we can actually have the body tag. Inside the body tag we can basically give a class to it, or body, And make sure guys, after you purchase it, you will actually get this public folder which will actually hold all the static assets such as the css, global css. With this css we will be using it for our application. These are the different fonts which I used for this project. So make sure after you purchase it, you will get all this source code. So what I will do, I will not write this static CSS again from scratch. So what I will do, I will go in my public folder and simply paste all these assets in the public folder. So right here. So this is all is needed guys, you will see that. So you will get all this once you purchase it. The link is given in the description. You can purchase it from my website procodestore.com. This zip file will be there. After you purchase it, you will be redirected to Google Drive where you can download the zip file of my project file. So this is an actual CSS code. This is global CSS. The styles which are necessary we are including. You can see our using the fonts. These are the different fonts which are used for this project. So just make sure that you purchase it. So now coming back to the project, we have the base layout file, and right inside we'll be using these classes that we defined in the global CSS. We have the header tag, and we'll be giving a header, a class of header, and then we will be having a navigation bar right here inside our layout file. So this navigation bar will be shown in each and every page. So that's why this is there in the layout file. So this navigation will be shown in all the pages. So we will be giving a class of blog link, and this will be the home page. Let me call this as free media tools. This is the name of the channel. So like this you can do it. And similarly after this we can, this is the navigation tag right here. If you see navigation ahref, then we have various links out there ahref, and here we can give it a navigation link class. These will be different links. So this will be the home page. Similarly we can copy this and repeat it one more time. This will be the blog page. This I can change it to blog, where I will be showing the articles in a paginated way. Then lastly we'll be having the about page, so I can change it to /about. So this is actually the menu guys. We have the home page, blog page, about page, and then we have this site title freemediatools.com. So we can include the CSS right here, the global CSS style sheet, and you can directly include the assets which are stored in the public folder /css/global CSS. So because it is present in the public folder, we can directly access it. You can see that. So if I run this now, npm run dev, you can even go directly to your URL localhost 4321. If you just go, if you want to access any asset which is present in the public folder, you just type here the name of the asset. You will see the image is stored localhost 4321/profile.jpg, because it is directly present in the public folder, so that you can access this image directly by this URL. So by default, all the assets which are stored in the public folder, you can access it. Similarly, we can access /css global CSS. So this is a global CSS that you can access. Then after we include the CSS, we also need to include the fonts which we are using, which are present in the fonts directory. So what I can do, so this you need to do it only for the very first time, because we will be using this layout file in all our files, in all the components. So we will be including the font file as well, href, and it is present in the fonts folder, Atkinson regular, will be, this is a font file, and the type of the font is font/cross origin. That's all. So just close it. We included the font file as well. You can now format this like this. Similarly, we have the second font file as well, which is the bold one. If you want to make the text bold as well, there is a second bold file right here. This is a regular one, this is a bold one. We also included the css global.css as well. So actually we have included all the static assets which are required for this application, and this is the actual layout file that you can see. And if you want to make it dynamic, guys, let's suppose if I want to use this layout file, so what I will do, I will just remove everything from this index.astro file. This is the home page that we see when we open the application. So by default now, if you go to the home page, it is showing us this hello world message. You will see I removed the styling right here, and you now see no styling is there. Now we need to use this base layout instead of layout. So I will say base layout. So now you can see that now it is actually imported this layout file, which is present in the layouts folder, base layout.astro. So it is now, if I refresh now, just refresh it. It is saying that, sorry, the file name is global, sorry, not global. So just go to the file name in globals, sorry, globals. If you see, this is globals. So if you see, guys, basically you will see that now the styling has been done, but the menu items is not. I think I made a mistake in writing this, giving the classes. uh, the fonts are working. If you see, this is our navigation tag. Sorry, we have given the class body, header class header, navigation we have given this class blog link, and ah we have the navigation link. We have the navigation link. Yeah, after this, guys, whatever content that you are passing in this index.astro file that you see, this hello world is not seeing right here. If you see, if you refresh it, this hello world message is not showing right here. Why it is not showing? Because we haven't included this in the base layout. So now after all the this header, we will have this main tag, and inside this we will be giving this a class of main. So right here we need to dynamically put all the children, all the dynamic content which is coming from any files which will be inheriting this base layout. Let's suppose we are using this base layout in any file. So whatever after this base layout, whatever content that this we are dynamically generating or using it in this base layout, we need to actually use this slot. So this needs to name, you need to name this a slot as only. This is a special tag provided by Astro. So whatever is the children, whatever is the content that you generate, whatever content that you write, it will come dynamically inside this slot. So now if you refresh, your hello world message will be showing. After this, we will also show a footer message as well. So footer you may show, or it totally depends upon you if you want to show footer message as well. We do have a footer tag as well. So you can actually have 20 free media tools. Blog, all rights reserved. So by default it is not showing, guys, because we made this as hidden if you see in the global CSS. So that's why for now we are not showing the footer, but you can even show the footer as well. So totally depend upon you, your website configuration. So now after doing this, guys, I will show you how to dynamically pass the title and the description. You also have the description. You can even have description as well right here. We can have a meta tag where we can actually show the description. So we have the meta tag right here. Name is equal to description. So content, we can say this is a Astro coding blog. So Now we are actually passing all these things as statically, but this is not a good practice. This is not a recommended practice. You don't need to repeat yourself. So you need to write as much less dry code as possible. So that's why we need to pass all these things as dynamic in the form of variables. So Astro does support us in passing those variables. So what we can do, whenever we are using this component, we can pass the title as a variable and also description as well. So these are called as web components, Astro components. We can pass props. Similarly, we did in Vue.js, React.js, any front-end framework, we can pass properties to these components as well. Now to receive these components, receive these properties, we can actually have an interface of props. This will be in the Astro file. We are now writing Astro code, JavaScript code. So it's a TypeScript object and it basically accepts a title and a description. So that's why TypeScript is very much useful, because it actually allows you to actually make this interface and store these properties, and we will be receiving title which is of the type string and description which is of the type string. So here you can't pass a number right here. If you pass a number, you will get an error. So you do need to pass a string value only. At the time of compilation, you will get error if you pass number right here. So now to receive this, we can simply say const title slash description, and then we can get this using Astro props like this. So you can pass properties inside your Astro components and receive them using astro.props. Now we can replace this title dynamically, title and the description like this. Like this, guys. So now the things are dynamic, so whenever you want to change it, you need to change it at only one location, so every time the changes will be reflected back. So this is a recommended practice. So here we can pass Astro coding block. This is a simple coding block built in Astro framework. So if you refresh, nothing will change. Everything will remain the same if you refresh it. This is actually the title that you see, Astro coding blocks. So you can see the description as well. If you see the meta description, this is a simple coding block built in Astro framework. So whatever things that we are passing right here to these, it is reflecting back. So now the next step is to actually create something content, meta markdown files, so that we can see on the screen. For defining that content, we actually go to the source directory, and this is the main directory of Astro. We have the components directory, layouts, pages. So one more directory you need to make, which is the content. So here you will write your content in the form of markdown files. But before that, we need to actually make a configuration file in TypeScript. You can call this file as config ts. You just need to call this file as config. So just name is config is .ts. So it will actually contain information about what type of information you want to create in markdown files. So this is very important, guys. Just create this, write this code as it is, define collection. It will be imported from the base Astro framework, which content class, and we also need the Z operator as well. Z operator, which is also part of Astro. Right here we will have a blog, and we'll be defining this collection. Collection, as you all know, it's a table or a data, whatever you may call it. But again, you'll be have a schema object right here, and Z dot object. So we'll be creating an object right here, and this will actually hold the title. So Z dot object, Z dot, and here you need to set whatever is the data type. So title will be of type string. This will hold the title of your blog, whatever blog that you will write. The next property will be the description. This is all also of the type Z dot string. Then we have the tags for our block. If you want to put tags related to, this will be a array. It will can hold multiple tags, so that's why it is said Z array, and it will be of type string. So Z string. Then we have a Boolean property. If you want to publish or draft it, is draft property will be a Boolean. So Z dot Boolean. The default value will be false. All our post will be published. If you want to set a blog post as draft, you need to set it to true. Then we have the publish date variable. This will hold the publish date of the article, and we will be transforming it by using the transform function, and this will be a date. So we will say new date like this, date data type, and we will pass that string as an argument. This is actually the schema, guys, and here we'll be storing title, description, tags, is draft, publish date. If you also want to store the featured image, you can even add that also, but for this tutorial our articles just doesn't will not have the featured date. So now we can export this. It is important, guys, you need to export that so that we can use it in different files. So export const collections, and then this will be a blog object that we are exporting it. This is really important. You need to define this file before you start building your markdown files. So now Astro will know it what type of data that you want to store it in markdown files. They will basically check this file, the schema, before they compile your project. Now inside your content folder, you need to create a blog folder right here. This will be the structure of our application. All the blocks will be present in the blog folder. Here we will be defining our first block. The name of the block will be the title. So whatever is the title of your blog, let's suppose I will say C sharp program dash program to add two numbers. This is the title, and dash mdx. This is the markdown file, mdx. So markdown, if you don't know, guys, mdx is a little bit different from the basic markdown file. It also allows you to write JSX. JSX, if all know, if you have worked with React.js, JSX is a special file. So in Markdown, you can even write JSX expressions as well. So JavaScript code as well, but simply. So now in the Markdown file, first of all, dash dash dash. So inside these three dashes, we will be providing the properties, the title, so here the title we will say C sharp program to add two numbers like this. Then we will have the second field, which will be the description, C sharp program to then we have the tags right here, will be an array. So by default it will only have one tag, C sharp. Next will be the publish date. So the variables needs to be the same, guys, that we defined in the previous file. This will be today's date. I think it 220. Today's date is 19 July 2024. So this is actually the four variables that we defined in the previous file. If you see config file, and title, description, tags, publish date. So is draft, we are not providing it because by default it is set to false, because we will be publishing this. That's why we are not providing it. If you are not publishing it, in that case we can provide this to is draft to be true like this, but we are publishing it, so that's why we are not providing that value. So now after that we can write our markdown file. So this will be holding a title in the hash symbol. This will be h1 tag, and here we can say, here we define the C sharp. So this is a basic static blog. I will not write this text right here. You will actually get all the source code once you purchase it. So once you want to highlight something, you can write this backtick symbol. So it will actually highlight that text for you. So here we define the C sharp. After this, we can actually write a syntax or code. We can embed code right here inside our application. So this is actually a program which actually allows you to add two numbers. So I can paste this C sharp program and then close it. So instead of, we can say plus. So this is the program. You'll see it has highlighting as well. So now to see this in the browser, what we need to do, we need to go to the pages directory. So this is our index page. So by default, hello world message is showing if you go to the localhost 4321. So we defined our markdown file, if you see. So now inside, first of all, we do need to have our section tag. So now we will be doing it in the next section, guys. I will show you how to actually retrieve these blog posts which are present in the blog folder. Similarly, let me create some more files uh, before we go to the next section. Let me just create one more file. Let's suppose PHP program to add two numbers. So what I will do, all these blog posts are present in my file. So what I will do, I will not waste your time. So these are all static stuff. So what I will do, I will basically copy all these. These are simply markdown files, nothing as such. We'll copy this just to get some data. I'm just doing it. So pasting it. So now we have got all these markdown files, guys. If you see that every markdown file have these four properties: title, description, tags, publish date. And now in the next section, guys, I will show you how to retrieve all these blog posts and show it on the index page. And also in the next sections, we will be showing you how to make individual components and separate or split your application into multiple components such as blog list. We will have a pagination component. We will have different components. So I will be we will be seeing it in the next section. Now guys, in this section, we will be fetching all the posts which we written in the last section. So the posts are located in the blog folder and it is markdown files right here. We have almost 5, 6, 8 posts out there. And if this is our home page, which is index.astro. So by default, we are actually showing a simple hello world message. If you see, if I refresh the application, just go to my blog. So hello world is showing right here. So now we need to fetch all these posts which are there. Now to fetch these posts, at the very top, we will actually define a function to fetch all the posts. To define this, we can actually make post right here, and this will be a simple function. And inside this function, we will simply say await get collection. This function is available from Astro content. It will automatically be imported from, you will see that the base Astro package, Astro underscore content. It has this method called as get collection. Get collection will automatically get all the blog posts which are located in this folder. You need to give here the folder name. This is, we created this folder, if you see, blog folder. So we are actually getting this all the blog post which is present inside this folder. and this will return the actual data inside this, and now we need to simply, in the callback function, this blog post will be returned. So you can see we are using the await keyword. So by default, all Astro components are asynchronous. That's why we don't need to write a asynchronous keyword. So by default, all Astro components are asynchronous. Now we will be simply be comparing a condition right here. So we can even write this on a single line as well. This totally depends upon you how we need to write this. So this is actually the function. Let me just write and explain to you. This function typically, guys, it fetches all the posts which are not in the is draft stage. So here we are simply checking for this value. Is if the value of this is draft is not equal to true, then we need to return all these posts. Indirectly, we are simply saying that return all the posts which are published, which are not in the is draft stage. So we'll be actually sorting these posts right here by the publish date using the value of like this. So now we will be getting all these posts inside this variable post. Now we can actually display this. So we can now change our HTML. Instead of hello world, we can have a section tag right here, and we can basically give it a class. So all these classes we will be uh, have styled in the custom CSS that we have written. So inside this h1 tag, we can give it a class of blog title, and we can actually say right here list blocks right here, and then we can have a paragraph block subtitle, and we can say programming and web development blocks like this. And then we will be simply be using a for each loop to actually loop through all the blog posts. So we have a unordered list right here, we'll giving a class to it of blog list, and we will be using the curly bracket, and right here we will simply checking post. So we can now access this variable that we declared in the JavaScript in the Astro. So we can access this variable right here very simply. We will again use the map operator and to actually loop through each post like this. So you have used this map operator in React.js in JSX. So we can see this is perfect JSX expressions that we are writing it. So this makes it Astro very much easy to write. So we have the li tag we are given the class of blog item. So inside this href tag, we will be having actually we can show slash blog, and then we will be embedding the dynamic post dash slug. So this will be the full URL of that blog post. Slug simply means the title, whatever this portion, this is called as slug. This is the portion which is called as slug. So this will be the full URL, and basically we will need to give it a class of blog link. So all these classes are styled, guys, in the custom CSS that we will write here. So if you purchase it, you will get all the source code with custom CSS as well, so don't need to worry. So in the we will actually have a h3 tag, and you'll be giving, this is actually a template. For every blog post, we are having a title, and inside this title we'll be saying the title of the post, which will be located inside post.data.title. So if I just console log it before, if I just show you, you can even console log here also, just to check on the console if the posts are returning or not. If you just refresh, you will see the posts are returning. These are clickable links, JavaScript program to multiply two numbers. If you check in the console also, it will return this JSON response right here. If you see, all the posts will be returned to us alongside with the ID, which is this one. This is a slug here, which is that I showed you. This is all the body that is returned right here. This is the collection. This is blog data title, description, tag, is draft, false, publish date. So everything is returned, guys. So we are displaying it in the browser in the HTML. So now after this, the h3 tag is over. Now after the h3 tag, we also need to give the tags as well. So this one will be having the class of block tags, and for each tag we will be again be using the for each loop, sorry, the map operator. So here we will be using for each tag. What we will do, for each tag we will be displaying the href tag, and we will be giving a class to it of block tag, and inside curly bracket we again write slash tag slash, and then we'll be embedding the tag which is there like this. And the label of the anchor tag will be the simply the actual tag like this. That's all. So this is all the HTML required for this. You will also see now it is telling us that post.data.tags post, sorry, this is needs to be post, sorry, because this variable is post. You will now see tags as well. This is, you can see these are clickable because 404 will be there because we haven't written these routes. These are dynamic routes. If you see localhost 4321 slash block followed by the name of the block. So these are called as dynamic routes. So similarly, if you click any blog post, this will be 404. It is not found. These are categories. You will see different categories, tags, localhost, slash tag, JavaScript. So later on, we will be displaying these routes as well. We'll be preparing these routes to actually show an individual blog post and the different categories as well. So just make sure you not have the dollar sign, that's all. So now we simply need to copy paste this custom CSS, guys, for this styling this. So just put a style tag right here. For each Astro component we do have a style tag, and paste it. So these are the different styling, guys. You will get these stylings once you purchase it. Basically I've written a custom CSS to actually style these, so each individual blog post is appearing on its own vertical line. So it is looking, as we hover onto these, you will see that it is looking good. So now in the next section, guys, we will be individually be writing these dynamic routes to actually show individual blog post. So whenever I click on individual blog post, I need to actually build these dynamic routes. So we will be looking it in the next section. Now guys, before we actually dealt on actually displaying individual blog post, we just need to slightly make a change right here inside the index.astro file right here. You will see that inside this we are actually displaying this blog post in the last section. If you go to the home page, we are displaying all these individual blog posts, but we need to actually make this a separate component for doing this. So right in the components folder, you just need to make a brand new file called as blog list.astro. So Astro does provide you the benefit of actually splitting your application into different components. So one such component is basically this component, which allows you to actually have a list of all the blog posts. So it is called as blog list. So right inside this, we will have at the top some Astro code, then we have the HTML, and then the CSS. So what I will do right here, I will simply copy all the HTML of this and copy and paste it in this individual, and after same goes with the style sheet as well. This is all the styles which are required, so I will copy paste right here like this. So after that we just need to here make slight adjustment right here, and we need to simply delete this from here. So instead of this base layout, we need to close the base layout tag right here in the index Astro. So here we will be expecting a prop here. We need to call this blog list inside. So this is a base layout, and inside this we will be calling the blog list component. So it will be automatically be imported from the blog list.astro file. So write this component right here. We will be expecting some props. So we need to simply write a simple interface right here. So we will be accepting two properties. First will be a heading, which will be of type string, and the second one will be post, which will be a post array. So here we will be defining this array of post. So in TypeScript you can actually define the interface like this: export interface post, and this post will contain the slug, which is of type string, and the data object, which will contain two properties: the title of the blog post, which will be of type string, and the second one will be the tags, which will be a string array. So here we have defined the properties which will be expecting to this component. So whenever we call this component, we need to pass two properties. First is the heading. So we can pass any heading, let's suppose blogs. And the second one is the post. So this will be the post that we are getting right here. So this is actually the post. So we need to directly pass it as a property right here to this component. So right here in the block list, we will be receiving this prop. So now to receive this prop, we can simply write, which is the two props that we are passing, heading and post, and this will be coming from astro dot props, and we will be expecting it as the interface that we defined, which is props. So TypeScript at compilation time, it will actually verify these two properties which are passed, heading and post. So we are passing these two properties. You will see heading, blocks and post. And now in this component we can dynamically use this. So instead of statically passing this heading, we can pass this, use this variable, which is inside curly bracket. We can use this variable, and right here we can use this variable, which is post. So after you do this, you need to put, I think, a let me cross verify here in the blog list component. Okay, yeah, so we don't need to put here parentheses, curly bracket. We can directly use this variable post right here. So if you now open this index, you will not see any change. You will still see the same result, npm run dev. So it will actually show you the list of blog posts on the home page. But now we have a separate component for displaying the list of blocks. So anytime if you want to make any change in HTML, CSS or the logic, you will go to the blog list component. So if I now open it, you will not see any change. Still the same result is showing right here. The blog list is showing. But now we have splitted this into its separate component. So now you can see that it has its own component, blog list. So similarly, in the next section, we will be looking at how to actually make a about component in this components folder. So we will be making this about page. So whenever I click this menu about, so it will actually show a card where you will be displaying the details of yourself, such as name, email and social profiles details. So we'll be looking at how to make the about page in the next section. So now guys, in this section we will be actually looking at how to actually make the about page. So in the menu, if you click the about menu, you will see this 404 not found. So the about page is not there. You will see the URL structure, which is the home page /about. So in any time in Astro application, if you want to make a new route, you need to go to the pages directory, and anytime if you create any page right here about .astro, so automatically this route will be created. So if you now write anything right here, so automatically your page is created. And if I now click about, you will now see about page. So now in this about page, we need to actually make a component where we will be showing the user profile information. So for that we need to make, first of all, we need to inherit the base layout component, which will be imported directly. So inside this we will be passing the properties to this. First of all, the title of the page will be about page, so about me. And the second prop, which is a description, so we will say that it is about me page of freemediatools.com blog website. So for every page, when you create inside base layout, it accepts the title, description. So this will be the title and the description of it. So if you now check, the title will change. You will see about me, and base styles is inherited of the base layout. So now in this we will be having a section. We will be giving a class of it of about, and inside this we will be constructing a new component in the components folder, which I will call it as profile card dot astro. So inside this component we will have a simple card where we'll be displaying the profile picture, name of the email, phone number, everything. So right in this about page, so we have given this class of about, so we just need to style it. So just have a basic style right here to style this about class. So for this we'll be changing the display property to flex, justify content to center so that it appear in the center position of the page, align items to center, and we'll be having a minimum height of 80 vertical height and a padding of 2 rem. So these are some of the styles is given. So you will not see anything on the screen yet. So for this we need to construct the profile card component. So inside the profile card component, we will be expecting the details. So we need to just write an interface right here of props. So what properties we will be expecting in this component. So we'll be expecting a profile picture, which is of the type string, the path of the profile picture. The second property will be the name, which will be of type string. And then we will have an email, which will be of type string, and the phone number, which is also will be of type string. So these are the 4 parameters we need to pass whenever we call this component. Now we can access these properties by using destructuring profile picture, name, email, phone number, and we can expect it from again the same syntax astro props as props. So you will see profile picture, we call this as profile picture. So the structure remains constant for every component. We declare this interface as props, then we destructure it to get the properties. Now these properties are globally available so that we can use it inside the HTML as well. So now to make this component, we will simply have a div which is of profile card, and inside this we will have a image tag. So we'll have an image tag, and this will be equal to the profile picture property that we are getting, and alt is equal to profile picture. Then we need to give it a class of profile picture. So all these classes we will be styling it in the CSS. So then we will have a h1 tag, and here we'll be dynamically be putting the name variable, and then we will be styling it so the color of it will be there in the black color, and we'll be giving a class of it to name. Then we have a paragraph which will be holding a class of email, and here we'll be displaying inside the strong tag the email of the user, which is right here. We can display it. So similarly, we will copy this and paste it one more time. This will for the phone, and here we'll be displaying the phone number. So this one I call this as phone number, so you will see that. So now these are the different styles, so you just put a style tag, and we will be styling these classes. Profile card. So if you just now if you want to call this simply inside your about, you can simply make profile card. It will be imported. You will see import profile card at the very top, and here we need to pass four properties to this. First is the actual profile picture, and here it is present in the public directory, so we can directly access it. So you can see that the profile picture is present, so we are directly passing this as the second property. We need to pass it is the name of the person, so we can pass the name. Then we have the email, then the phone number. So all these four things we have passed to. If you just refresh your browser, it will look something like this. It is not looking good, so we need to style it. So right here for the styling, these are the different styles, so I will not waste time in writing the style sheet. So you will all get the source code in the description, so when you purchase it, so it will look something like this. After you put the styles, this will be in the profile picture. This is name, email address, and this is the sorry, this is name, sorry. So I think this needs to be name. Name is not showing, sorry. Color is black. I think this is HTML. I forgot something. So you can see that now it is looking correct. So this is actually the profile card component, which will actually display the information in a card like structure in the center of the screen. So this is your about page done right here. This is the home page, this is the about page, and now in the next section we will see how to actually paginate this. If you go to the blog page, we will be displaying 4 blog posts per page. So in the home page we are displaying all the blog posts, but when you visit the blog page, we will be displaying only 4 blog posts per page. So we will be implementing pagination in the next section. Now guys, in this section we will be looking at how to paginate these blog posts. So in the home page we are basically getting all these blog posts and showing this in a form of a list. And now if I go to the blog page, I need to show them in a paginated way, such that we will be showing 4 blog posts on single page. So for doing this, it's very important to note down guys. For this you need to create a file inside your pages directory, and this file will be here. You need to create a folder inside the pages directory, so this will be called as blog. You can see we have created a blog folder right here, because the directory name like this, if you see. So if I navigate to the blog thing right here, so this is a structure or slash blog. So this is the main thing you notice here, slash blog. So you can even create a file, but folder is pretty much the recommended way. So we have created a folder, and inside this folder we need to create a dynamic route, and this you need to call this uh, similarly what I am just calling right here. In square brackets you need to write here triple dot 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 followed by page. So this needs to be named as it is that I am naming here. This is actually the convention. This is recommended file name page.dat astro. So Astro has a built-in support for pagination. That's why uh, anytime that you make the file name start with the slash these brackets, it is called as dynamic route. So these are dynamic routes in Astro, and dot 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 page means we are basically making a dynamic route for pagination. So this route, three dots right here followed by page dot astro, this is the pagination dynamic route that we are making right here inside the slash blog folder. So now inside this route we will be having once again three dots. Here we will be writing our logic, the JavaScript code, the Astro code. So first of all, right here we will be making a simple function. This function will be called as get static path. So get static path, guys, it's a very important function in Astro. Get static path is used in to actually generate static paths for your static website. So when you build your Astro website, Astro will look inside this function, whatever the path that this function will return, it will actually make a static paths whenever you build your application inside the dist folder. So whenever you build it, so this function right here called as get static paths, so it's a built-in function. You need to build right this get static paths, and right inside this it basically contains a paginate function. So paginate, so this is built in inside Astro. If you want to do pagination, Astro has built-in support for pagination. So this paginate function is automatically passed inside this get static paths function. So this function is responsible for generating static paths of your blog. So now inside this we will again be fetching all the blog posts similarly that we did in the last section. Here we will be using the await keyword. We will say get collection. It will be imported from Astro content, and inside this we will be passing the blog folder, because we need to fetch all the blogs which are present inside this folder, blog folder. So it will actually fetch all these blogs. And now after this we again need to use the same logic. The second parameter here, it will actually have your blog post inside the data. So right here you will be having a condition that is draft property is not equal to true. So we only need the post which are published. So it will actually give you the post, all these posts. So this will be your function. So after this we also need to have to sort this. So we can actually make a sort function to actually sort these blog posts based upon their publish date. So publish date, we will take the value of that publish date, and we will be taking the blog post which is published early on, so in a decreasing order. So let's suppose if the blog post is published on later date, that blog post will come first. So like this. So essentially we are returning blog posts which are recently published first. So that's the logic behind this. So now we are actually getting all these blog posts. Now we need to use this paginate function. So we will simply write here return paginate, and we will be all post. And right here, this is an important property. We need to have a page size property, and page size here we need to set here how many blog posts you need to show on a single page. So I need to show 4 blog posts on a single page. I will set it to 4. So you can set accordingly how many blog posts you want to show on a single page. So this setting you can do. So now this function will return this paginated way. So after we do that, we can now access the paginated post by page prop, and we will say astro dot props. So this page property, this page will contain all the paginated blog post. So if you now visit your application, if I start this application, so if you visit that dynamic route, if I visit localhost 4321/blog, So what you will see, nothing will happen in the browser, but if you see in the console, it will actually return all this pagination information. That is, the current page is slash blog, the next page is slash blog slash 2. This is the pagination, the second page. Previous page is undefined, first is undefined, and the last page is slash blog slash 2. This is the important information regarding pagination. The starting page is 0, the ending page is 3, the total number of size is 4. Total number of records are 8. Post. Total number of pages are 2. Current page is 1. So we need this information for the pagination alongside with all this information that we get, the ID, slug, body, everything else. So it basically generates some static paths. Alongside with it, it also gives you the pagination information as well. So now using this information, now we can use this information and pass this information to a pagination component. So again, here we will be using the base layout component, and right here we will be calling the blog list component once again. So all these two components will be, so right here we will be inside the blog list, we will be passing the heading parameter as blogs, and the post here will be page.data, because if you check this response, it is so page slash data. So data is actually a array, so that's why we are passing page dot data. So this is actual post. So we need to go to block list, and just we need to add some things as well, because in the blog list we also need to pass the current page information. Current page will be located in the page dot current page property. Similarly, we will have the total pages. We will be also be passing the total pages as well, which will be page dot last page. And the next property we will be passing is the previous page. These are all necessary for pagination. So page dot URL dot previous, and similarly the next page. So next page is located inside page dot URL dot next. So lastly, we will also have a property for a Boolean parameter. So if you want to do pagination or not. So we do need to do pagination. So we need to add all these variables inside our blog list component that we did in the last video. So go to blog list, and right here you need to add these variables. So we basically are passing these variables. If you check these posts, let me show you the blog list component. Yeah, so this will actually be, let me update this blog list. It will now be having these parameters. So we have the current page, total pages, previous page, next page, pagination. And the question mark, if you see guys, question mark simply means in TypeScript that this parameter is not mandatory. It is optional parameter, so it is not mandatory to actually pass these parameters all the time. So if you put question mark, it becomes optional. You can basically pass the parameter, or you can neglect it as well. So this is question mark parameter. So we are passing for the pagination, current page, total pages, previous page, next page, and pagination parameter, which is a Boolean parameter. The default value is true. So this thing right here, we can get this using we can destructure it from the props like this: current page, total pages, previous page, next page, and the pagination property. So all these parameters we are passing it right here. If you see, we are passing it page.data, page, current page. So we are getting this inside right here. So now we can actually make after this UL element, we can actually make a new component for actually the pagination component. So right at the bottom side right here, we can actually make a component first of all. So just go to the components folder, and right here make a component for pagination, pagination that dot astro. So this will again be, so right here we will be having the export interface, and this will be pagination props, and here we'll be passing current page, which will be a number, total pages, which will also be a number, previous page, which will be a string, the default value will be undefined, and next page is string. If the value is not passed, then we will say it is undefined. And then we have the pagination, which is a boolean parameter. The default value will be true. So these are the different props which this component will receive: current page, total pages, previous page, next page, and pagination. Now we can destructure these parameters like this: current page, total pages, next page, and we can get this from Astro props as pagination props like this. So that's all. Now in the HTML, we can actually, based upon the value of the boolean parameter pagination, if the value is true, in that case only we will be displaying the, so here we'll be having we will have this pagination. We will be comparing if the value is true, then in that case only we will be showing this pagination class. So here this is, you can see pagination is a boolean parameter. We are simply checking it in JavaScript expression that if the value is true, then in only case we will be showing the pagination. So this is JSX, guys. So if you have studied React.js, you will know what I am doing. So you will simply check that if the previous page value is not undefined, in that case we will use the ternary operator. In that case we need to show undefined. So in that case we need to show the previous page. So just close it and say previous, and we will be giving a class to it of pagination link. So all these classes we will be styling, and this ternary operator will be having the second condition: if the value is undefined, in that case we will be disabling this button. So we will be saying simply a span tag, and this will be having a class of pagination link, but this time also a disabled class as well. So conditionally, if the value is comes out to be undefined for the previous page, then the button will be disabled. So the user can't click that previous button. Similarly, we will do the same thing for next button as well, but in between we will also show the total number of pages, the current page value, current page of the total pages. So after this we will do the same thing for the next page as well. So this one for the next page. It will be next, and we have the ternary operator. If the value comes out to be undefined, in that case we will have a simple span tag where we will be disabling that. The value will be next, and it will have the class of pagination link and also disabled as well. So this is the JSX conditional logic for, and then we will be now be defining the CSS. This I can simply, very simple CSS is there for disabling or pagination. So if you now hopefully if you open the page, you will see, guys, now only four uh, if I go to slash blog, this is the home page. So here all the blog posts are showing, and if you go to the like this one, here only four blog posts are showing on the first page. If I navigate to the second page, the next four blocks will be showing right here. You can see that this is a next four blog posts are showing, but the buttons are not showing, guys. Let me see why the buttons are not showing. You can see the pagination is quite working, but the buttons are not showing. I think, yeah, we haven't included this pagination component, guys. So inside the blog list component, right at the bottom side where we can directly right here, we can include the pagination component. And now it will be expecting the current page value, the total number of pages, the previous page, next page, and lastly the pagination, which is a boolean parameter. So this time here we will be passing true because we need to show pagination. If you refresh now, you will now see the pagination buttons have successfully been added, guys. We are on the second page. If I click previous, I will be navigating to the next page. This is the first page. If I click next, you will see that the URL structure will also change. Localhost 4321/blog/2. This is on the first page. This is the first page. This is the second page. If I now actually go to the pagination component and change this value, uh, wherever we are getting this is dynamic route here. Let me change. I want to show 2 blog posts per page. Let me change this to 2 page size. So now you will see that the total pages will automatically change. So now there are 4 pages in the pagination. So 2 blog posts are showing on a single page. So the previous button is disabled. You will see this is the first page in the pagination. If I navigate to the second page, the next 2 blog posts will show. This is a third page, this is a fourth page. So now the pagination is quite working, guys. You can accordingly you can change this value. I think 3 value is enough. So 3 blog posts will be showing on a single page. So we have the first page, second page, third page. So pagination is quite done, guys. We got the about page. We also did the pagination. This is the home page where we are fetching it. Now the thing is remaining, we need to actually make another dynamic route where we will be actually be showing the individual blog post in the markdown file that we have written. All these blog posts, we need to render it so that the user can see the blog post as and read it. So we will be tackling that in the next section, guys. Now guys, we will be showing the individual blog post as a dynamic route. If you see, if I click on an individual blog post, the blog post structure will change as /blog followed by the title of the blog post. So this is actually the dynamic route here. So we again need to make another dynamic route in the same blog folder. So later on, in the previous section we tackle about how to do pagination. So we inside this blog folder we created this page, which stands for pagination, and here we'll be making a second file. Again in a similar way, in the square bracket we would put 3 dots, and this time I will write here slug, SLUG. Slug stands for whatever is the title of your blog post, and again the Astro, again it's Astro component. So again it's called as a dynamic route because we are starting this using the square brackets. This is for the pagination. This is now for actually viewing the individual blog post. This is slug.astro. So again in this file we need to actually use once again the same function get static paths that we used in the last section. So get static. So this is useful. This function in Astro is responsible at build time whenever we compile or build our application to actually make this into a single static website. Astro will actually build your static paths, which is returned by this function. So when we build the application, we will see how it do it. So we need to now fetch all the posts once again by using the get collection method, which will be imported from Astro. So this thing is constant in every file. We need to get this collection from the blog folder, and now you need to map this for each post. We need to create a static path So inside this, we will simply be saying the first of all, it takes the parameter, and here we need to provide the slug, which is equal to post slash slug. This slug simply means the title of your blog post, and then the props. What are the properties you need to pass? We need to pass the this post here, which we are working it. So this is the post right here. That's all that this function will do. It will actually build out a static path of your at build time. Whenever we compile this application, this gets static paths. So now this returns. After this, we can just say type props, and it is type of a collection entry of a blog, and then we can get this post using astro.props, and whatever is the content inside it, whatever is the actual markdown content, we can get this by using destructuring, getting the content property, and we can use this function post.render. So this will actually return the everything which is actually contained in the markdown file. If you see, we have written all these markdown files. So whatever is this content that we have written, the static content, it will be returning. So if I now hit this endpoint, it will now say get static paths route parameter. So you will basically see in the command line, if I show you, invalid get static paths route parameter for props, expected undefined, a string or a number, received object. So, okay, so in this slug astro, let me just paste it. I think I made some kind of error right here. Let me paste it once again. Let me refresh once again. So now you will see nothing will come in the browser, no error is coming here. Now we can display the data easily in the HTML. So again, we will be using the base layout. So for this, we will be giving a title to the page. So title will be the actual post of the title. So we can get this using post.data.title. This is a title, and similarly the description will be equal to post.data.description. So this will actually hold the title of that blog post, the description of that blog post. So inside this, we will have a div which will have a class of post container, and inside this we will have an h1 which will have a class of post title, and we will be embedding the title of the post at the very top in the h1 tag. And then we have the paragraph where we will be using the color will be white, the font size will be 16 pixel, and margin bottom will be around 40 pixel, and inside this we will be holding the information related to the who posted this, everything. We will give it a class of post meta. So all these classes we will be styling it in the CSS. So this will be published on, and then we will be embedding the date. So new date post.data.publish date. So this variable will be coming publish date. So publish date, we need to convert this into local string. So you can say local date string. We'll call this function. So if you hit this, you will be actually see the title of the blog post, JavaScript program to multiply two numbers, and this is actually published on the date structure 16th July 2024. So this is the actual thing that we are getting right here. After we do this, we can even show the tags as well. In which tag we can just put a comma, and tags is equal to, we can have a strong tag. Inside that we can have a anchor tag. Inside the color yellow, we can simply, in the tag section, we can simply say slash tags, and followed by post.data.tags. And here we can say post.data.tags. Tags can be unlimited so that we can use the join function like this. So put a comma in between multiple tags. So you will see one tag will be shown in yellow color JavaScript. So if you navigate to it, this will also be a dynamic route slash tag slash JavaScript. So whenever we build this, we will be coming on to this. So for now, we are rendering the blog post, individual blog posts. So all this meta information is there. After this paragraph, we can simply now render the content. So we can simply say content like this. That's all, because we are using this content right here and rendering it. So if you just refresh now, it is saying expected component heading to be defined. You likely forgot to import or provide it. I think where it is saying content. Let me see, guys. Base layout, title, description. We are passing title, description. Expected component heading to be defined. Okay, I think yeah, there is a error right here. We need to go to the individual blog post where we are JavaScript multiply two numbers. We need to delete this. Sorry. Yeah. So now you can see that our blog post is successfully showing right here. This is the actual paragraph. This is the syntax highlighting. Here the blog code is showing. This is again some paragraph right here. So now in this way you can view any individual blog post. You will see that this is again the full blog post is showing. This is a pagination. You can individually actually view the blog post. The page you can see this is actually the night owl syntax highlighting theme right here that you can see. So it is able to actually highlight every programming language. This is React.js. We can go to, let's suppose, C sharp. This is C sharp right here. You can see the heading is also putting right here. And this is Rust. So each and every programming language settings highlighting is highlighted successfully. So now in the next section, guys, we will actually be seeing, I think we do need to include these style sheet for the, I think we haven't included this. So right at the bottom side, we do need to include the styles as well. So simply paste the styles for, so if you paste it, you will actually now see it has been, the headings are in the center. The H1 heading is right in the center, and also it has got some space as well. So before that, if we not had this, so now it was not looking great. So now we actually pasted our custom CSS. So now it has styled this. So the heading is appearing in the center position. So tags has also been styled. The text has also been styled. So the application is almost complete. So in the next section, we will be looking at some of more components. If you want to actually embed images, if you want to change the heading color, let's suppose you want to change this color to orange. So we can actually make two more components such as image and heading component in the components folder, so that we can dynamically change these heading colors, or if you want to embed images as well. So we will be tackling this in the next section. So now, guys, in this section, before actually we made those components of image and heading, what I want to do right here, for at the end of every blog post that you see, at the bottom section, I want to display a section where related blog post. So let's suppose a user is reading your blog post. When it finishes, then you might want to display related blog post as well, the blog posts which are related to whatever blog. Let's suppose you want to show more Python blog posts to actually increase the user engagement. So for that, we can actually make a new component in the components folder called as related blog post. Related post, you may say, Astro. So this component, the job is to actually find out the blog posts which are related to the existing blog post. So the logic is very simple in this function. Again, we'll be using the get static paths function, export async function get static paths. So now this function will return await get collection. Once again, we'll be getting all these blog posts, and sorry for this one, I think, yeah, the logic is slightly different. Here we need to search the blog post. Okay, for this we don't need get static paths, we don't need to generate the static paths. Instead, we do need to get the properties passed to this component. First of all, we can make the interface. So export interface post. So it will be containing the slug string, the data property as well. So it will contain the title of the post and the tags and the publish date, which is of the type date. So what properties we will be expecting in this component? So we'll make a props object right here. Export interface props. We will be expecting the title of the blog post, current title, which is of type string, and the tags, which will be a string array. Tags will be of type string. So we don't need this post export interface post. Export interface, sorry, we need a space right here. So now we only need to pass two properties here, the title of the existing blog post that you are reading and the tags. So depending upon these two properties, we will be making a simple function. So we need to get these two properties. We will destructure it, current title and the tags, from astro.props store as props. So now we will make a simple function called as related post, and right inside this we again use the get collection method. We will actually get all the blog post, but this time we will basically make a condition right here such that the data that is returned, the title of that. Let me just show you the logic behind this. It's very simple function. In this function, we are actually checking for the title. If the title matches, then return it. So you can see data.title is not equal to current title and data.tags. If the tags are contained inside it, then return it. So this function will return all the blog posts which are related to the blog posts which are passed to this in simple terms. So now after we get this, we will get this inside get related post. Now we can show them in the HTML. We will give it a class of related post wrapper, and in this condition we can say the checking the length of it. If the length is greater than 0, in that case we can show it. In the ternary operator we can say if no related post is found, then we can show a message to the user that no related post found, like this. So if the post is found, in that case we can actually use the blog list component, and we can actually pass a heading right here. We can say here more post. So you can see that we are using these existing components that we create multiple times at multiple locations. So this is the advantage of using components in you don't need to repeat yourself. So we can pass dynamic parameters here, more post, and the post this time will be these related post, not all post, only these related post. And for this we don't need to show the pagination, so we can set the pagination parameter to false. So this That's the advantage of using that Boolean parameter. In some cases we want to show pagination, in some cases we don't need to. That's why pagination is false right here. And after that we can include some styles that I made for specifically for this component. So I can paste those styles right here. So if you just go down, we do need to include this in the component. So right here, go to this, right at the bottom side, we can include related post. Here we need to pass the title. The current title is equal to post.data.title, and the tags, it will be equal to post.data.tags. So if you refresh now, you will see at the bottom side more post. So you can see that Python program to add two numbers, Rust program to add two numbers. So this condition matches, add two numbers. So this is related. So Rust program to add two numbers, Python program to add two numbers. So if you want to see JavaScript, so there are three programs related to it. React program to add two numbers, to multiply. Here it is adding. Svelte to add two numbers, Vue program to add two numbers. So here more post, you will see that. So we are also showing related blog post at the bottom section right here. So now in the next section, guys, we will be also be tackling these tags, dynamic routes. So if you want to individually click a additional individual tag right here, we also need to make this show blog post only related to a certain tag, such as JavaScript, PHP, Ruby. Let's suppose you want to also only view the blog post related to Python. So if you click this tag, you want to show it. So again, it's a dynamic route. We will be tackling this in the next section. Now guys, in this section, we will be tackling the tags right here. If you click a individual tag right here, if you only want to view that blog post, we need to actually make this dynamic route /tag/Python. So right here inside your blog in the pages directory, we need to make a folder called as tags. So now inside this, once again, we make a dynamic route. In the square bracket, we'll write here triple dot slug slug dot astro. This is actually a dynamic route that we made. So after tag, we can actually view a individual. This is a slug value. It will be dynamic every time. So when you visit after tags, this value will be again dynamic. This will change. So this will be the slug. So now we need to actually, first of all, inside this component, we again need to use the same function, which is get static path, to actually make a static path for these dynamic route. So export async get static path. So every time you make a dynamic route, this function will be used, get static path. So here we need to actually get all the blog post first of all. So we'll be fetching all post. Again, we'll be using get collection. So from blog, so the data will be returned to us like this. So here we will simply be returning all the blog post which is published. So isDrop property needs to be false. So you are just putting a condition right here. So after we get all the blog posts, we can just check a condition, the tags condition. You can make a new set, and here we will run a simple for each loop. For each blog post, we will simply say that the tags which are contained inside it, we need to loop for each tag, and we need to add these tags in that. So every tag which is available right here, if you see, it will be added inside this Python, JavaScript, every tag. So after adding this, we can generate the path for each tag. For generating paths for each tag, so here we can simply return array from tags, and we need to map for each tag, we need to generate a page for it. So Astro will automatically generate this for us. So we need to pass a params property here. The first property will be params. So slug is equal to tag. The next property is the props. So props will be the individual tag, like this. So that's all. So this is actually the function which will return, it will generate the static paths when we build the application for each tag. It will build out a complete HTML page for each tag. So after we do this, we can actually get the slug value. This is a query parameter. We can get this using astro.params. So slug is basically this one. So we need to get this value, which is this value. So this is called as slug. So we can actually console log as well. So if you want to get this value, if you check it inside your console, if you visit this, you will basically see Python is returned to us in the command line. So we are actually getting the slug value right here. So depending upon that slug, we can actually now get the blog post. You can again use get collection. You can here return data is draft is not equal to true. Same thing that we did. Now we need to simply filter these posts, filter these posts by the selected tag. So what tag the user has selected. So for doing this, we can use a simple function, JavaScript function of filter, and we can filter the blog post, each blog post by the tag which is passed, post.data.tags. You can use the include function, includes the slug. You can see that. So you will be basically be including the slug which is passed right to the actual uh, category of the blog post, and then we are returning it based upon, we are sorting it in the descending order like this. We have the post right here, and now we can display it. Again, we'll use the base layout function. This time we can pass a title. This time the title will be post tagged with, followed by the slug value, which is, and the description, post searched for slug. So inside this, we can actually again use the blog list component that we made. So you can see that we are using blog list at various locations. So this time the heading here will be post tagged with slug. And also here we also need to pass the post. Post will be post that we are getting right here. So if you just refresh now, you will now see post tagged with Python. I think I made a spelling mistake. This needs to be tagged. So if you want to see only JavaScript post, you will see only JavaScript post right here. You will see 4 posts are there. Only PHP. So only 4 post of PHP is there. So in this way, you can also include search feature as well inside your blog post. If your user only want to see JavaScript post, they can click individual pages of tag. You will see that tag JavaScript. If you they only want to see PHP, you will see that. So almost the application is complete, guys. We now need to actually include two more components if you want to embed images. You see that we are not included imaging. If you do want to include images, we do need to make a route for this. uh, the heading and the image component. So we'll be tackling it in the next section. Now guys, lastly, inside the blog post, if you want to embed images or if you want to change the heading color, for this we will be making two more components in the components folder. So right here in the components folder, we will actually make right in this folder heading component, heading.astro, and secondly the image component, image.astro. So both these component usage will be very pretty simple if you want to display a heading or a image in the markdown files. So right inside this file, let's suppose if you want to display this heading, if you want to change the color of it, so you can't change the color, it is stuck to white color. So for doing this, we can actually make a component right here, and inside that we can be destructuring it. So for this component, we need the heading and the color to be passed. We can get this using astro.props, and now we can actually style this. So we will have this h1 heading, we will give it a class of custom heading, and we can give it a style of based upon the, let's suppose we can inside curly bracket, we can say based upon the heading color, we can say, we can pass the color right here. Whatever the color is passed, we are simply passing this right here. So what is the heading? So we can also dynamically pass the heading as well, like this. So now in the CSS, we can style this. You can see that we are passing a dynamic variable in the CSS. This is heading color. You can see that we are passing it. So we have defined this variable like this in the inline CSS, heading color to whatever color the user passes right here, whatever the heading. So this is all dynamic. This is the dynamic component. Now we can use it in the uh, this one MDX. So we can simply say this is markdown JSX file. So now we can use components as well. This is not a ordinary markdown file. This is MDX. So here we can even use components, Astro components as well. So we can say heading. So we can simply import heading right here. So right, we can import right here, which is import right here. I think we can import heading from I think it is located in the, let me see what is, yeah, you can see that. So now we can use components right here in this file. So we can pass this heading. The first of all, it takes, we have defined this heading, it takes the actual heading and the color. So what we can do right here, we can pass the heading, which is the usage, and the color will be, let's suppose if you want to pass orange color, you can even pass in hexadecimal as well. So if you now want to view this blog post, which is C#, it is expected closing tag for heading. So okay, we need to close the component. So now you can see it has changed the color to orange. You can select any color whenever you make the heading. You can change this color to any color, pink color. You will see that. So you can even pass hexadecimal as well. If you want to make it white, you will simply pass FFF, so it will be white. If you want to make it red, F0, so it will turn to purple, sorry, like this. So in this way you can change the colors. It is that easy by making a simple dynamic component, and then we can use it inside of this MDX markdown files. So one such component example is there. The second one, if you want to embed an image in the image component, we can actually, in the same way, we can actually make an interface right here. So inside this we will be expecting a URL and a alt string. So we'll be expecting this URL and the alt one from Astro props as props. So again, this will be very easy. You can style your components anyway. Centered image, you will giving a class to it, and inside this so we can dynamically pass this image, whatever the source will be URL. Like this. So we can now include the CSS for this for each component. This is the advantage of using Astro components. You can have CSS for each component separately. You can see that. So this is again a component, image component is ready. Now you can use this if you want to now embed an image. In the similar way, we can import the image component as well. So we can simply replace here image, and from the image component, let's suppose here we want to display a heading, a image. So we can say image, and here we can pass the URL. So I can pass the URL locally as well. So if the image is present in the public directory, so we can directly pass it. You can see it is present in the public directory. So I can expecting a closing tag, so we do need to close the tag as well. So close it. So you will see that now I think the image is not showing, which is profile JPEG. I think it is present inside. I think there is a path issue. You can store it. You can, if you want to copy image address, you can pass the URL right here. If you want to embed a dynamic image, you can see that. So the image will be displayed in the center position. You will see a border will also be there. So in this way you can embed any image in the blog post. So you need to change the URL. You can even display images which are locally present. You just need to make sure it is available in the path. It is present in the same folder. So now you can see that. So based upon the height, width of the image, it will adapt automatically. So in this way you can have headings, dynamic headings. You can embed images as well by making an image component. So at any location now, at any component, at any markdown file, you can use this. So in this way you can see that. So this is PHP program, I think. So if I go to the PHP one, so you can see that. So again, we are displaying this image from a URL. This is again this is actually the full example, guys, for how to make an Astro static block. Now we come to the stage of actually deploying this to an actual virtual domain name. So before deploying it, we need to build this application. So we can actually run this command, which is npm run build. So if you see the package.json file, there is this script out there which is available, which is npm run build. So this will build this application for you. So just write this command npm run build. So it will actually create a static folder. npm run build. So you will see that a dist folder will be created. So you will see that the dist folder is created. This is actually the production folder which has been created. It will hold the static assets such as the images, the CSS, global CSS. This is your pagination paths right here. It has created that static path that I was talking about. For each blog post, it has created this index.html page now. So now if you want to deploy this, before deploying this, if I also want to show you how to actually have a sitemap as well. If you want to include the sitemap, it's very simple. We will include it inside the integrations tab right here. Just go to your Astro config file, and now inside your integrations right here, put a comma and use the sitemap. And we can include the sitemap. We imported it, so import sitemap from Astro sitemap. So you will see that we are importing this sitemap, and then we are including this inside the integrations array right here. So now if you build your application, you will also see a sitemap created in the dist folder. A sitemap will also be there. So now you can see that the sitemap is also there. Sitemap, it will actually hold all the URLs which are there. Astro will generate all these URLs for you. You need to just replace your website name in the Astro config file. So if you're deploying it, just replace your website name right here, and it will create the sitemap. Now to deploy this, we will use a platform called as Vercel. So Vercel is a great platform if you want to deploy. I already have a command line installed. So I will simply say Vercel --prod for the production. So it will ask me some questions right here. It will say set up and deploy. I will say yes. The setup is very simple. It is saying found project. I will say no. So what it will ask you what your project name. So I will simply say Astro coding blog project 2. In which directory is your code located? So I will say in the same directory. So it is simply setting up the project. It is uploading the assets. It is saying want to modify the settings. I will say no. So it is deploying the project. So once deployed, it will give you the production URL so that you can share that URL with the users. So the deployment process is pretty simple. After you create the dist folder, you just need to execute these commands. So now you can see that it has given this production URL. So now you can directly open this in the browser. So this is your blog post on the home page. It is showing. If I go to the blog page, so total of 3 blog posts are showing. In the next page, the pagination is working. You will see navigate to the last page. So now this button is disabled. You can go to previous page, next page. This is about page. You will see that we can even individually view you will see the syntax highlighting is also there. And you can see that images are also displaying perfectly. So it is also responsive, guys. If you are viewing it on mobile devices, completely responsive as well. So in this way, guys, we saw how to develop a static blog in Astro from scratch. If you need the full source code of this application with full documentation and support from me, the link is given in the description. You can directly purchase the full source code with full documentation as well. The link is given. You can go to my website procodestore.com and purchase the full source code. Please hit that like button, subscribe the channel as well, and I will be seeing you in the next video.